I've done what I wanted. I've had 10 years. I think 10 years is long enough. Players get to know you, people get to know you. You can't change anything. The team pattern has to be changed. Players that I've had for 10 years have got to go. New faces, people have got to come in. There was all sorts of reasons why it was a decision that I had to make. I mean, I'm turned 60 now. I've never been out of football, been in since I was 15, and I just wanted a break and wanted no more responsibility for a little bit. And I've done it. And I feel, I don't know if I regret what I've done, but it's, I feel a lot lighter now. You walk around not knowing what to do. You got like a lump in your chest, and you sleep, you think about. We've had some great days and great nights and good memories. I hope that the people of Ireland have got, I know that they've got the memories. I know they cherish them, and I know that they've enjoyed the days that when they've done something that they've never done before. They go to a World Cup as part of it a couple of times. They've enjoyed that, and the European Championships. I got me memories of games and players and all sorts of things.
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories.
It's a job with great possibilities.
So what will you do? What changes will you be making?
I don't know what changes I'll make. I don't know what I'll do. I'm here to meet a few people, to talk to people, to let them see me and find out what I'm like. I mean, I can talk, you know that for a start. Can I manage?
Well, I think everybody was surprised at the time. I don't think Jack himself was too concerned whether he got the job or not. I mean, Jack, as we know, there was controversy when Jack took over. Jack got, in the initial 18 votes, Jack got three votes. So there was only 3 people going into the meeting going to vote for Jack.
As you know, there was some controversy in your appointment. Are you happy that you have the full backing of the FAI?
I don't want to talk about controversy. The chairman phoned me, or the president, sorry. The president phoned me and said, would you like, the job is yours if you would like it. And I said, I would like it. End of story. And I just sort of said, listen, don't embarrass me. If you want rid of me, I'll go. You don't want me, I'll go. I said, the job's not that important to me. I said, but now I'm here and I've taken it, you know, you're stuck with me, so you've got to learn to get on with me. And so the press conference didn't leave a very, it didn't leave me with a great deal of, you're going to be welcome here, Jack.
The Republic's controversial new soccer supremo was giving very little away at a sometimes stormy news conference in the Westbury Hotel this evening. But he will be signing a 3-year contract for an undisclosed fee. He remained tight-lipped on the question of who his assistant manager might be. I asked him what he planned to do about the abysmal standard of Irish international soccer.
Bring me expertise to it. I've been brought up in the game all my life. I know it inside out. I've worked with some very, very knowledgeable and good people at that level. I've seen quite a lot of it, and generally, even though I can't alter the individual ability of players, I can probably alter the structure in the way they think.
I think when he first came in to the Irish setup, I think people questioned him, which they always do. Not only Jack, whoever took over. Could have been Pellier that took over and people would have questioned him. That's the nature of football people. But he won them over very quickly with I think his knowledge of the game. And the way he treated people, if anything I've learned from him is, and I think people find it strange when I say it actually, is how he treats people. He treats people very straight. He might be abrupt at times, he can be blunt, but he's always honest.
The first tournament I think we played in was a small little tournament in Iceland, and the way he was trying to get us to play, there would have been a lot of players thinking, God, this isn't really the way, you know, or we want to try and knock it about and play the way possibly the other European teams play. But then you tend to believe a lot more in it when success comes from it. And we went and we won that little tournament out there. Now, it'd be no big shakes, but it was the first thing we ever won, you say, you know. You built on win after a win, a draw, and then all of a sudden then, the more success we had with it, the more we believed in the way that he wanted us to play.
I'd looked at European football, I'd looked at world football in Mexico. Now, we couldn't enter that fray and expect to be successful playing them at their game.
Paddy Bonner between the Irish posts for the 12th time. Frankie Verkuijven to take the corner. Confusion and storm by Kloss, I think it was.
So we invented a game that was totally different to anything they had ever had. And we turned the game on its head. Nowadays, you see, they've changed it. Everybody in Europe does a little bit of what we did 10 years ago. Everybody in Europe. But they've changed the name. The FIFA guys, when you go to meetings, they call it pressing. You know, they've changed the name because they don't want to tell us that we started it and we brought this into international football, which we did. They now call it pressing. We call it putting people under pressure.
The Irish coming back. Out. And Stapleton with a chance. And a great block that was by Vervoort, and it had to be because the Belgians for once were unhinged. Galvin now. Stapleton up. And the header is there! Stapleton gets the equaliser.
It was only after a few caps that I had, and I remember speaking to Liam Brady, who for me is the greatest player that's ever played for Ireland, and he said, you know, it's about time you started to do a little bit more in the game when you're out there. And I thought, well, what's this all about, you know? But he was right, you know, it was about time I started to grow up. I'm now an international player, and I had to prove it. And it was one of the best lessons I ever had. We drew 2-2 in the night, and we scored a penalty in the last minute.
And the points almost within their grasp. No offside here. Stapleton going in on back and pulled down surely. Yes! Penalty kick. So now, Liam Brady, who missed a penalty for Arsenal in the Cup Winners' Cup final here in 1980. The penalty shootout against Valencia. Liam, don't do it this time. 2-2. The point is saved. Liam Brady brings out the flags. And 2-2 is the score. And the match is over. And a remarkable night in the Heysel Stadium in Brussels ends in a chorus of boos from the Belgians.
We've gone away and we've got a result against one of the highly rated teams that had just come back from a World Cup and finished, I think it finished about 4th. And we've gone away and we've got a result. I mean, Belgium came here in the return match, and they never came out of their half. They settled for a 0-0 draw before they kicked the ball. The coach was a very old, experienced guy, and he recognised something in our game that said, if we go there and try and take the game to them, we're going to get stuffed. They actually were the first team to give us, you know, to sit back and say, look, you've got to be careful with this lot because they do certain things that you might not be able to handle. And he was correct.
Our goals against rate dropped dramatically as soon as Jack took over. He really, because he was a centre half himself, he obviously took care of the defending side of things at an early stage. And we always had a chance then if we weren't going to concede goals. You know, we used to win games 1-0.
But he also brought in certain players then as well. You know what I mean? The Ray Houghtons, the John Aldridges, these all made big changes, big differences to the players. And yeah, I think he wasn't afraid. I think, if I remember rightly, he was criticised in many quarters. As everybody knows now, they're as Irish as any of us.
Ray was by accident. I went to see John Aldridge. And I'd heard John would qualify for us if we wanted him. And I went down to Oxford to see him, and I talked to John and after the match, and I said, would you like to come and play for the Republic? And he said, yeah.
And John scored 2 goals, so obviously he was pleased with what he's seen. Fortunately, I had a good game, helped John score, I think, one of his goals. And afterwards, you know, Jack was told that I was available for Ireland as well, because my dad was born in Donegal in Buncrana.
And he said, well, Ray's mother is from Dublin or Cork or whatever. And I said, is she? So I got hold of Ray at the same time. And I said, Ray, do you want to play for Ireland? And he went, I'd be delighted. They made the balance up of what we lacked, or what I felt Owen had lacked and John had lacked. You know, a quality right-sided midfield player and a player of reputation who can score goals up front. I think whatever I said to the players at that time, I must have got through a little bit because they appreciate that I'm a good pro, I've been in the business and I know what I was talking about. So I got no arguments whatsoever. The only arguments we had, or the only discussions we had, were with Liam Brady. I mean, Liam was asked, and when I asked Liam to play a completely different role to something they'd never done before.
The problem with Liam was that, you know, what a gifted player he was, but if anything, the problem was that away from home, you know, we couldn't afford to have Liam play in the way that he did play, and Liam had to be part of the system. And I think Jack straight away identified that, and he said, Liam, you know, you're a gifted footballer, but we're going to have to play this way.
I felt that Liam Brady's main attribute was his ability on the ball and to come deep and to do it and to use it. Whereas I think Jack would discourage him to do that. And I think it was no secret that Jack at the end wanted Liam out of the team.
But to Liam's credit, he tried. And he gradually got better at it until the game before we went away to the European Championships. When I think it was Bulgaria we played, was it? Or Romania, Bulgaria? Bulgaria. Liam had a tremendous game in the way I wanted it. And then he retaliated and kicked the guy and got sent off. And he missed the European Championships. I'm in a farm in the middle of Shropshire, and suddenly I've got a phone call. And the guy said to me, oh, congratulations. I said, what for? He said, for qualifying for Europe. I said, no. I said, the match is on the telly. I'm watching it. It's 0-0. And it's only about half an hour gone. He said, no, it's recorded. Scotland won 1-0. And this kid scored. I mean, it was out of the blue. We never expected it. And Scotland beat Romania 1-0. Or was it Bulgaria?
Number 6.
I think the European Championships to me was really the springboard. Not so much the qualification for it. Now, we did very well because we were in a very difficult group to do that. And even though we needed the goal from Mackay for Scotland away to Bulgaria to actually qualify, I think the main thing that made the team believe that we were going to go places or that we can do things was the European Championship itself.
I think the occasion itself was so special because it was our first big game in that stage. You know, it was our first competitive match after qualifying for a tournament. And then, of course, it was against England, which made it all the better.
I've got photographs at home when I scored. And I think if you've seen that in the delight from, I think there's 3 people in the shot, was myself, Ronnie Whelan and John Aldridge. And you would have thought them two would have scored and said to me, the delight in both faces.
And we sort of sat back and said to England, OK, we've got one, you've got to come and get one.
Oh, it's fantastic, fantastic. Obviously before it we thought we could do it, you know, and now it's come through, but that's the hardest 90 minutes you'll come across, believe me.
I mean, it's so unusual for me to score with anything, and especially in my head, I was so pleased. It was just fantastic.
England may have missed chances, but in 90 minutes it was 1-0. And we scored, and they didn't.
Maybe after the game, when we were all around, we've celebrated and we've won 1-0. We'd say, what did you think before the game? He said, God, I thought to myself, you'd be doing well to keep this down to 2-0 or 3-0 or something, you know. Obviously, you know, that was the first major game, you know, in the championships, and to play it against England, to play it on a neutral ground as well, where they would have been overwhelming favourites for it, you know, that was a great game.
It was one of those days that everything just seemed to happen for me, you know. Other days you could have went out and lost maybe 2 or 3 goals in a game like that, but everything seemed to do worked for me, and the ball didn't go in the net.
And just the start that the dreams contained.
I thought our performance then against Russia was superb, one of the best, you know, over all the period of the last 10 years, I thought, because we controlled the game very well, we passed it about. They dropped off expecting us to hit long balls in behind, is what people always thought we would do. We saw that and we started playing it short, and we played some great spells of football in it, and I thought we deserved to actually win that particular game. And you must remember, Russia were a fine team.
We got the result against England, and then we went and played Russia. And I still say to this day, I mean, Tony Galvin was decapitated by the goalkeeper.
The performance against Russia, I don't think it was in the European Championship. Ronnie Whelan scored a great goal, great volley from a Mick McCarthy throw-in. And I thought on the night, Ireland played particularly well. I think we only drew the match 1-1, but should have won it.
And most goals that you enjoy come as a shock. And that one, I think I remember that one a long time. We finished with drawing 1 each. We were still on track, but it meant that we then had to get a result against the Dutch. And the Dutch at that time were probably the strongest team in the world. And we gave them a game. We gave them a real game. And it cost us a game. But, I mean, we had made an impact on the competition. And we had nearly put the eventual winners out of the competition. It worries me what the reception would be like if we actually won something. We went away to the competition and we thought, when we went, a little bit worried that we would like to bring some sort of credit back to the Republic. Yeah. We'd like to think that we gave it our best and it just wasn't good enough. But that you appreciate the fact that what the lads did out there makes us all just that little bit more proud to be Irish, me being now an honorary one.
When Ireland came home in 1988, the whole country turned out to celebrate what had been achieved. It was very important for David O'Leary, who was sitting at home crying because he'd been excluded from this, one of our greatest players. So my job was to write about that injustice.
To see your country and to see the whole of Ireland the way they were, and to see them come home that day in Dublin, the thing that you've always dreamed about, being a Dubliner, was very, very sad.
I don't think Jack realised how strongly and how closely the players were, and that we were all in it together for the common good. And there was times I remember in my own situation where I was left out of the squad or something like that, or maybe left out completely. And I would have thought, over what was built up between everybody, a phone call wouldn't have gone amiss or something like that, or to pull you or let you know what was happening and going on.
I never heard from Jack for 2 years. All of a sudden I was called back in.
Whelan's touch at the near post.
The spirit always amazes me. The way they get in about the job, the way they hustle people, the way they work off the ball, they run themselves into the ground.
Yes! Ray Houghton, splendid goal. Kevin, well done. Now, I know it's mathematically not absolutely certain, but after that, it must be.
I would think so. I think we've got to be 99.99% certain. It's a great feeling, really is, super.
Yeah, I treasure all the shirts that I've exchanged. This will be a special one because we've qualified for the World Cup today.
Just wait for that result from Budapest, which should confirm things, but it's as good as there.
Yes, it's a moment for us all to treasure, and we've a great bunch of lads in there, and you know, they've fought every inch of the way, and I'm so proud it's untalkable.
I mean, in my time, we had a couple of bad decisions went against us that might have qualified us. But I don't think we're really strong enough to do it. I don't think we're...
When you look back over it was the '82 World Cup, and we had a great World Cup then. I mean, you consider I think there was Belgium in it, Holland in it, and France in it, and ourselves, and I think some other team, maybe Cyprus or something like that. And that was a hell of a group to try and come out of. And we got pipped on goal difference in that. I think we finished with 10 points, and I think Belgium had 11, France had 10, and Holland had 7 or 8 or something like that. And we should have qualified in that. The game away to Belgium, we were robbed. They got a goal in the last minute from a free kick, and there was never a free kick.
So we had good players before Charlton, but never the kind of players that make the difference. But there's no doubt that there was unfulfilled potential before he came.
The next team is Sweden.
England, Holland, and
the last name out of the hat.
Well, when we were drawn in that group with England and Holland, and I felt that we were in with a shout, because it was a sort of games that I felt each of the teams were capable of taking something off each other. And it didn't look the sort of a group where Holland would go through and beat everybody, or England would go and beat everybody, or we would go and beat everybody.
Won by Butcher. Now here's Sheeny. Sheedy's won it back, and Sheedy shoots. Oh, it's there! And Kevin Sheedy, who's enjoying his best period in an Irish shirt, has right out of nothing conjured the equaliser.
The Irish, they showed tremendous spirit. They just kept battling and putting the long ball into the box, and I suppose eventually it paid off. I'm a bit disappointed to have lost the extra point, but hopefully it'll mean both teams can get a good result in one of the next two games, and both of us go through.
It was a game we couldn't afford to lose. We've got to go in against Egypt now, and if we can beat Egypt, we've got 3 points, and then we can go against Holland, and we'll see what happens against Holland. But we needed 2 points now against Egypt.
That was rubbish. That was Ireland.
Well, I think a lot of people got it wrong. And it's amazing what you can say on television. What you actually say and what people think you say is two different things altogether. What Eamon actually said at half-time was that he was ashamed for Irish football in the way that we played against Egypt. And people then, I saw it in the paper afterwards, that Eamon Dunphy said he was ashamed to be Irish.
Do you feel that the level of criticism of the performance
Don't tell me about criticism, because I haven't read any of it yet. The only criticism I've heard from is what you say. As far as I know, I've never read any of it. I haven't heard any of it. We've had a report back that Eamon Dunphy on the television was about as much relevance to us as a fly on the windowsill. And Giles, he wasn't very pleased. You know, that's the criticism we've heard.
You don't want to go to the great festival of world football and play like that. It's wrong. And here we were doing it. We waited our life to get to World Cup finals. Was this what we were waiting for?
I got shanghaied upstairs to a press conference, which is when we had the big confrontation with a little guy that writes for a newspaper in Dublin. And a guy that I'd said that I wouldn't deal with him anymore after he wrote a scurrilous article and gave us all papers on the plane coming back from the European Championships in Germany. And I actually acknowledged him. For the first time in 2 or 3 years, I acknowledged him. And hell broke loose. He's a accredited journalist. He should be able to ask questions. I said, well, you make your mind up. It's either your press conference or mine. If it's my press conference, I don't want to talk. If it's your press conference, I don't want to answer questions. And I walked out on I didn't realise the repercussions it would have and the aggravation and how famous I would make him.
I said that the style of play didn't reflect the qualities of the players in the side, and that it was embarrassing and shameful that an Irish team with players like Ronnie Whelan and David O'Leary and Paul McGrath should be playing in this style, and that finally against Egypt it was revealed to be bankrupt. I've been one of his biggest supporters.
You have?
Because I believe in pragmatism, and the guys who I wrote a piece for the Sunday Times a few weeks ago, which was almost an apologia for him.
I didn't stop him sitting and listen to the questions that were being asked. I just wouldn't answer a question from him.
Can you comment why that is so?
Well, I don't like him. And I don't have to work with people I don't like. I think he's a bitter little man.
And he's always had a great relationship with a lot of the media here, you know. But now and then, you know, you've got to answer the awkward questions. And I think in many ways he's a person that he doesn't like criticism. I don't think many people do. But I don't think he handles that very well.
Jack, how do you feel now for the Dutch match on Thursday?
Oh, the Dutch match will be a good game. The Dutch, we know, will come and have a go at us. And the Dutch know we will go and have a go at them. And it'll be a good, honest, hard-working game with a result probably at the end of it, either for us or for the Dutch.
The Romania game will always go down with me as being the best match I ever played in. Not so much because of the quality of the play, and you will see probably better matches, but in terms of the adrenaline and the emotion and the release at the end when we won, when Dave O'Leary's penalty went in, it's just incredible. You know, the highs and lows I experienced during that game, just, you know, ridiculous.
And I was quite relaxed in the penalty shootout. I went across to the lads and I said to them, they were all sat round and getting rubbed by Mick and Charlie, and I just said to them, look, make your mind up what you're going to do and do it. Don't change your mind. And there's a guy there smoking a fag, and I said to him, give us a tab. And he looked up and he went, ah, and passed one through the thing and gave me his matches now. And I lit a cig and I stood and watched the penalty shootout. People looked at me on the television when it showed you pictures of flashed it to me, looking away. I wasn't. I was looking, the playback screen was up there and I had all the players between me and the goals and I couldn't see what was going on. Because I couldn't believe it when David O'Leary went to take the penalty. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, no, come on. I mean, we got good strikers of all and good penalty takers. To throw the onus onto David, I thought was a bit, the last penalty was a bit much.
The nation holds its breath. Yes, we're there! Ireland and the most popular supporters in Italy have another journey to make. David O'Leary of the Irish team sends Ireland on their way to Rome. And Genoa tonight belongs to Ireland. This is the kick, the historic kick that sent Ireland through to the World Cup quarter-finals. There has never been an achievement in Irish sport to parallel this.
Yeah, we're in the last eight for the first time in my history, and it's magic. I'm delighted for the lads.
Well done. Congratulations, sir.
Cheers,
Thank you.
And good luck to the people back home.
Right.
Hope they have a good party.
For Italy and said, yeah, boss, when we qualify for Italy, you'll get us in to see the Pope, won't you? And I said, yeah, of course I will, Mick, no problem. And then suddenly Mick's knocking on my door saying, boss, you know, you promised to get us in to see the Pope. So then I got to start making arrangements. Well, we only got 3 days to get an audience with the Pope. And we made it.
So the Irish football team. Best wishes to you.
And the Italian game was one that you've got to look at it realistically and say we're playing the Italians in Rome, who are the favourites for the competition, and we've got to get past them to get on. I was amazed at the quality of our game and how it affected the Italians in the match, and in fact the Italians were very lucky to win the game. If Kevin Sheedy had played the simple ball that he was supposed to play.
I went through a lot of emotions, and I think you remember it more afterwards, and how it felt afterwards. You can't remember how it felt at the time. I only know what it means to me now, being captain, and it was something that gave me a lot of pleasure and something that I get a lot of pride out of.
Collins Street, you'd actually think we'd won the World Cup, but when the Irish team return tomorrow evening, they're assured of a hero's welcome home.
So we've been drawn in the same group as England, this time in a qualifying round from which only one team will qualify.
Qualified in 88, qualified in 90 for the World Cup, and now, you know, everyone's thinking we're going to qualify for everything, you know, and with only one team going through, it was a little bit difficult then. We were in a hard group, we had England in our group, but we were disappointed. The most disappointing thing was we didn't lose a game and we didn't qualify.
My own personal favourite would probably be the goal I scored against England at Wembley in March 1991 to score in the sort of home of football of the British Isles. That
beat them that day at Wembley. That would have been a real bonus for me to, you know, that we could take Ireland to Wembley and win a game. There's not many people do that.
We were at that stage probably in our prime, as a man says, the whole squad, you know, and that would have been an ideal opportunity to test ourselves against the best in Europe.
Oh, Bonner beat it there! Disaster strike! And Poland have equalised. 3-3.
And I remember watching England play in Poland, and our boys were in Turkey, I believe, and at one time we were winning and England were losing, and I thought, yes, you know, we're going to get there, and it was agony pacing up and down watching all this on the television, and of course I believe Gary Lineker ended up scoring one for England, and a draw was good enough for them, but that was really disappointing.
So this potentially dangerous for them. McCarthy's throw
goes Cascarino. Byrne, it's there! It's 1-0 Ireland! John Byrne has got it!
Towards Staunton, there's no offside. Staunton delivers the cross. Byrne there! And now Cascarino! And here's Sheedy's corner now. At the back it's McGrath. And it's there again, John Byrne once more! Splendid stuff, 3-1 Ireland!
We went away and beat Turkey 3-1 after being a goal down to a penalty. And the players were devastated when we got the England result back through and they'd managed to sneak a draw and they'd gone through on goal difference. I mean, we were devastated. It was because we hadn't lost a game in the competition. We'd gone through and not lost a game and hadn't qualified. But then that one I went and saw that and learned a lot. And then on to America.
In the group of 3, Ireland Republic.
The first interview after it was in Belfast, and somebody asked me on television who I thought would qualify. And I said it would be between the Republic, Denmark or Spain. And they were most upset that I hadn't included Northern Ireland. We took a point of Spain away and we took a point of Denmark away. So it gave us an opportunity to make a mistake. But my first thoughts were that I felt they were going to beat everybody else, so we had to beat everybody else as well.
Jack, are we still on the way to the USA?
I have no idea. I've been trying to talk you out of talking that way for the last 2 months. We did very well in the games up to this one. We've had a bad day. In Belfast, we've got to have a good day. I always felt we would have better side the name and that we would get the draw we wanted. I never imagined the emotions in the way and the feelings that were stirred up in the ground. It was nasty. It was unhealthy. And I remember I brought Ray Houghton off, and Ray wasn't very pleased he'd been brought off, and he said, I'm the only one getting any chances. And I said, you're the only one missing the chances. So I put Alan McLaughlin on. I said, Alan, you play where you play best, just behind the front 2. We'll be getting the ball in there and you pick up the drop-offs at the edge of the box. Of all our players who had lashed at things and put them over the bar, we'd had some good chances and lashed them over the bar and put them way to the post. We never hit the target. Alan suddenly took a couple of seconds to pull it down, let it bounce, and he stuck his volley in exactly where he wanted. Somebody asked me to go and present some prizes in the social club upstairs. And I went in. And we got rapturous rounds of applause from the Northern Irish people, all of them in there. We got rapturous rounds of applause and cheers and everything. And I couldn't believe it. Because I hadn't beat us, they were cheering for us. But they didn't want us to win in the first place. And it was such a change from one attitude to the other attitude upstairs. To strike balls, and we hadn't struck them right at all. And Alan's was the one, right keen had hit one that went past the post. And then it dropped to Alan and he stuck it in the back of the net. And it justifies his existence for the last 2 years.
In New York, it means Ireland go into this group.
Ireland Republic, playing with number 2.
Mean they'll open their
in the group
programme
with Italy.
against Italy in New York on Saturday, the 18th of June.
My wife borrowed £500 this time 4 years ago, sent me over to the quarter-final, and when I came back I said, that's it, I'm starting to save now, I owe you a holiday, and we're going to qualify for the American World Cup.
Ireland qualified and you cancelled the wedding.
So
we're going to get married next year instead.
Next year instead.
They're in good shape, they're in good mind, they're in good mind. And they will do their best tomorrow to make you all proud and have a great party tomorrow night and win, lose or draw. And you do put me under pressure when you say we're going to beat the Italians.
To lead the team out at the Giant Stadium, especially against Italy in that first game, was a fantastic moment, one that I'll remember for an awful long time.
OK, well, your prediction then for this one?
I would go for the draw.
No score.
No score. And Joe, you're convinced an Irish win by a goal?
1-0. Total control in midfield, 1-0.
There was a lot of rumours at the time that I might not be playing. I worked hard through the summer, and Jack rewarded me by playing me. And you know, thankfully on the day I went out and done the business for them and scored the goal.
I think the game in New York against Italy was probably the one that sticks in the memory a bit. Just because how things went, Ray scoring the goal, us actually getting off to a good start for a change.
There were so many Irish people in the stadium, there was a terrific atmosphere, and it was a great opening to the World Cup, beating Italy, who eventually went on to the finals, as we know. I thought that was a very emotional type of...
It was quite comfortable playing in the stadium in New York. We played in about 92 degrees. I fell out with the Mexicans after the game when I went in, and their journalists were saying to me, wasn't Mexico a good team? Weren't they much, you know? And I said, wait a minute, I'll play Mexico any way you want in the world, but not here today. If anybody had an advantage over us today, it was you. I mean, you live in this, and you compete in this, and then you get the problems with the water, which was absolutely stupid. They've written to us, FIFA, and told us that the doctors have told us that players must have water every 15 minutes during playing in these temperatures. Otherwise, they're liable to go into a coma from which they're not liable to recover. And then you get there, and the referees are saying, get off, you can't give him it. Carry the player off. Don't give him a rest. We want at least 68 to 70 minutes live play in these games. It was totally against the conditions we were playing in. Now, where they got their advice from, God only knows.
Well, what's going on here? That John Aldridge wants to go on, and the officials won't let him on.
You know as well.
When I seen it afterwards, I was embarrassed of my antics, but at the time, you know, I was very frustrated. I was supposed to have gone on when we were 1-0 down. You know, in the meantime, they'd made it 2-0. We brought 2 players off and only put 1 on. So we were 2-0 down with 10 players on the field, and I've got dragged back off. So, you know, my frustrations boiled over, you know, to the point where everyone's seen it, you know.
Very good save.
But anyway, we went and got the draw we wanted in New York again. We did okay in New York. We played quite well against Norway. We got through, which was the main thing to do.
Now you've got to look forward to being second in the group and playing in Orlando. What do you think of that?
Well, we played in Orlando. I don't know. We
Looks like you'll
have to go again.
You'll have to be against Holland or Belgium, probably.
Not bothered. Not bothered. It's as hard for them as for us. That's okay.
And a message for the people back home in Ireland.
Enjoy the games. But we were just starting to get into the game then. We just started to settle down a little bit and get the hang of it. And then Terry let a ball bounce, so he should never let bounce.
Mistakes happen. You can't blame this. It just happens, and it's a split-second thing, you know. But obviously, I was very, very disappointed, and you know, while I was elated to save the penalty in the World Cup in '90, I was devastated to lose such a goal, and we were knocked out possibly because of it.
Disallows that.
Well, I had a funny feeling myself that it would be disallowed because I thought my foot was probably a little bit high, but I've seen those goals allowed. But it was disappointing, I think, on the day, the way we played. We didn't do ourselves justice, and we went out very quietly, really, out of the World Cup.
We might have gone out in a little bit of a different way. When you give 2 silly goals away like that, it leaves a bad feeling in the mouth with a couple of the people. But all in all, I could ask no more of the players. They worked very hard. We're losing. I congratulate the Dutch and hope they go on to do very well in the tournament. That's all I can say. We're very disappointed, of course, but we've enjoyed it. Well, they have. I didn't enjoy it as much.
Coming back from America we were a bit actually maybe embarrassed about it, you know, because we didn't do as well as we did in Italy, and obviously there was a lot of people, you know, a bit disappointed that we didn't go further and that, and we realised how the people must have felt here when the World Cup was going on, how there was such a high emotions and all that, but we were so detached from it, we just couldn't relate to it the same way as we related in Italy, you know.
We were disappointed at losing the game. We were out of the World Cup. We were a bit depressed. And then they tell us we've got to come back to a party. Anyway, I had a word with a couple of the FAI officials, and they said, look, you should come back. So I said, okay, I'll come back.
And he's going to bring us all the way in the European Championships in England, Mr. Jack Charlton.
wasn't a party for adults, it was a party for kids. Every kid in Dublin must have been in that park with their mothers. I'm sorry we didn't win the World Cup for you, but we did our best. And I can absolutely promise you that every player here did his utmost, and I can ask no more of them.
Nobody in the media actually came straight out and said the team have failed here. The team haven't done as well as they should have done. And Jack has failed, so we had this sort of ersatz celebration that went on, and we in the media were as culpable as anybody for that.
He should have gone after the World Cup in America. It was the natural end of his period here. It was a mistake to continue.
Success is relevant to what you're at, what you're after. I took a team that had never qualified for a World Cup or European Championships and qualified them in 3 out of 4, and looking for the qualifying 4 out of 5. But expectancy, like in every job, you know, the more you do, the more is expected. So my job was quite easy compared to some managers who go into jobs where the qualification is, if you don't win the World Cup or you don't win the European Championship, you've not done the job. I mean, that's not the case, never been the case with me. It's, we've raised the perception of the Irish throughout the world to quite a high level, and we would like to keep it there for a few more years.
It had been rumoured before today's draw that the Republic of Ireland, seeded 1, and Northern Ireland, seeded 3, would be kept apart, but as it transpired, the teams were drawn together once more.
I mean, the game against the North here was really the start of the change, when we drew 1-1 here with them. In a game that we totally dominated from start to finish, and finished up, they got a goal with virtually the only time they were in our half in the whole of the match. We had our chances to win that game, and we didn't.
Maybe just starts, you know, a little bit of doubt starts settling in from that particular game. You know, let's be honest about it. After beating Northern Ireland 4-0 away, we shouldn't really be happy just to sit back and accept a 1-1 draw at home.
Some at Lansdowne Road were perhaps a mite overconfident ahead of tomorrow's crucial European Championship qualifier against group leaders Portugal. Irish manager Jack Charlton has gone back to basics for this match, bringing back members of the old guard.
It's nice to get the nod off Jack. You know, he's been very loyal to me in the past, and hopefully I can repay that again tomorrow by maybe, you know, playing a role in what we might describe as the oddest game and go and win.
It's a performance against Portugal at home, which was without a doubt one of the best performances we've done over a number of years now. And when you saw a performance like that, and we'd gone to Northern Ireland, we'd beaten them 4-0 away, you know, the team should have been on a high going into all these.
They've done everything except score a goal. The ball seemed to would not go in. I mean, we've overcommitted ourselves from the back, and they still haven't done anything up front. And I don't know what to say. I mean, it's done us so much damage, that result. It'll take a real lot to get in over.
To me, over Jack's era, the worst result he's ever had. You know, not to go away to Liechtenstein in an important competition and then win. You know, and I don't know how he would look upon it. I'm sure he would feel the same, and the players would as well. You know, and ever since then, I don't know whether there's been a huge lack of confidence and seemed to seep into the team or whatever like that. But from that result, we've never really picked it up.
And then when we had Austria here and we're winning 1-0, and I thought the least that'll happen to us is a 1-1 draw. And then you get a couple of referees' decisions that completely changed the game. And we finished up losing 3-1. That really put us back on our heels again. Then you look up and you go and see Austria playing Latvia in August of all months. And you watch them get beat. And you think, well, we're still in there with a shout. You know, we've done our best to get out of the competition, and everybody else is doing their best to keep us involved in it. I think our game has changed. I've not wanted it to change, but it's had to change because the different players we've got coming through who are becoming a different strength to what we had before. So you've got to shift from one strength to another strength. It's a strange way that we've got to this sort of situation where we can go to Austria, and if we win the game, we virtually completed and have qualified. If we lose the game, we're still in with a shout. If we draw the game, we still got a great opportunity to qualify. So it's all there for us to do. That gives the players a boost. That gives them a motivation to go and do something else, or to come together and to be part of a team again.
His cross, still danger. Oh, what a goal! Austria in front. 3 minutes gone.
It's a game that we are playing away from home, and we've had to take the game to you all because the goal came in the first few minutes.
Little lay-off for Keane here. Roy Keane still around the challenge. Keane shot!
We overcommitted ourselves at times and left things a little bit thin at the back. But then when you're chasing a goal, you have to do that.
Keane went up. Oh, here's Cascarino. Consul saving again! Oh, he's made a couple of good saves there. Here's Kennedy's corner. Up goes McGrath! We're back on the rails. And they're more than they deserve.
You get another break, you score another goal, and the game's 3-1, it's dead, and it's gone from you.
Here's Tony Polster, though. Oh, Sterner! Oh, that's his hat-trick! Great strike. Good move. Polster did well.
It's a rare experience for you, Jack, isn't it? A qualifying defeat away from home.
Yeah, we've not.
7 years?
7 years we've not lost, but it's about. We lost today. We've actually. I think we've been punished rather heavily the last 3 or 4 games. We deserved more, but then.
Okay, thank you.
There was a lot of personal criticism going on, which we'd never been used to before, and it was it was a hard time, a funny period. But once we got the win under our belts last month and sort of looked a proper team again, if you like, you feel better now going into this game. I certainly do. I know the players do.
Yeah, I think we all feel a little bit of pressure. I think most of us would agree that we should have been qualified at this stage. Anyway, if we had a bad summer really and lost a couple of times to Austria and got a draw with Liechtenstein. But I think most of the lads feel that we can put things right.
We've done well over this campaign. We don't want to let it down, and we've done it before when we qualified and when we drew with the North to go to the World Cup. We can do it.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tense night, but it's not a situation that we can't overcome and find ourselves, in England next summer.
Quietly confident. We know it's going to be very difficult, but it'll be a good test for us, and hopefully we can get the 3 required results.
Well, we might get a penalty. We might score from a long throw-in. We might score from a free kick. We might score from a mistake. But if we concede one, I don't think we'll score 2 goals against them. And listen, I hope, like everybody, we win, and I hope for Jack that we win.
It goes to the last game, and at one time it looked as though you were going to qualify with a little ease, not easily, but with a point or 2 points to spare, and here you are in a battle, in a war.
We've proved that we're a good side there in the first 45. So the conditions are testing for us, but the longer the game goes on, the more impatient they'll become.
See 3 goals for the third time in 4 games. It's enough. Jack Charlton, I'm sure, will be unhappy at the way it ended in another heavy defeat. But the excitement is all for the Portuguese.
It's 4 weeks away, but we're going into it with just 1 win in our last 5 matches now. Can we lift ourselves?
We know we can. We should be at full strength, and I think us at full strength, we know what we're capable of, and we're on home territory as if it were. So we're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Steve. Better luck next time.
We handled it quite well the first half, and there was always an opportunity that we might just break away and get a goal, as long as we didn't give them any. The goal when it came was an exceptional goal. It was one you won't see a like of for a long time. He did very well, the boy.
They just played us off the park, simple as that.
Well, in the first 5 minutes you made about 4 saving tackles, so that was an indication of how things were kind of going to go for you.
Yeah, at the end of the day though, making 4 tackles doesn't mean anything when you know they could have scored 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all very well and good, but at the end of the day we've been hammered.
We knew tonight was going to be a hell of a job to win out here, and with a mix-up side, you know, it was 1 in a million if we did that, but thank God the North done us a favour.
We could have been out of it altogether. We're not. We've got a month to get ready and get right again, and we'll take it from there. Can we go now, please? I'd like a beer.
Portugal, I think, are a class team. I think they'll certainly be one of the teams that, you know, are capable of lifting, I believe, the European Championships. To play them away from home was always going to be very, very difficult. To play them then without some of the key players that we were missing, you know, to me almost made it impossible before going out.
You know, Jack has had a fair rub of the green, I think, since he's taken over, and because Austria got a result drawn in Belfast and we're out. So I'd say going into the match against Holland, we'd certainly be second favourites. But it's a chance that we maybe shouldn't have had anyway.
I think I've been here 10 years now, and I think it's time that there was a change and somebody else took over. Before I fall out with the Irish people, I mean, football's a strange game. You know, today's heroes, tomorrow's bum. And I've got a great relationship with the Irish, and I would hate to outstay me welcome. I think there's a cut-out time in everything. And I will be well aware of when that cut-off time is and when it's right to do it. And I will do it.
The big man from Donegal has set it up for a victory. For Aldridge, yes!
It won't be easy because I enjoy managing the Irish team. But I do think for the sake of football here and the progression of it, you maybe need somebody a bit younger, a bit more enthusiastic with a few better ideas.
Once more, Paul McGrath, the man to the rescue. In goes Aldridge, and Houghton, 1-0! That's from Graduate Fountain. Oh, yes!
But certainly if we were not to qualify through this group, I think I would have to look very seriously at it. Don't look back.
Wraps it up! Sight is that cup. A look at the watch. A blast on the whistle, and Holland go through, and Ireland go out.
Yeah, Jack's here with me, as you can gather. Not disappointed, not too downhearted.
Oh, listen, if we had been going to qualify for the European competition, we should have done it in the summer.
Yeah.
That was when we made a mistake. Coming to have to play a team like the Dutch here, they're very good players. They'll make you run and they'll make you chase. And we were a bit under par today, and we got the best team won, no question.
What about the future for you? You'll keep playing away as long as you can?
Yes. I love the game. You know, I'll keep on plodding away for Tranmere. Hopefully scoring.
And Ireland?
Oh, please God, yes. But I don't know. It'd be nice. It's a lovely thought, you know. I'll do my best anyway to keep on scoring goals for Tranmere, and you never know.
It's been a great eventful 10 years, Jack, when you've been at the helm.
Don't start asking me what I'm doing. No. Don't you start asking that again.
Dare you.
No, you're not asking.
You know him extremely well. Do you think he will stay on?
You'd have to ask him, to be honest. I'm not too sure.
You say you'd like him to stay on. I was interested at the weekend. He was saying that when you've been around players for sort of 8 and 10 years, perhaps you've said all that you can say to them to inspire them, and perhaps it's the right time to go. What do the players feel about that sort of thing?
Well, I suppose he's sick of seeing us getting beaten lately.
It would have been absolutely unbelievable for us to have gone away from me, you know, and qualified, you know, and it was too good to be true, really. It was like it was wrote in the book, you know, me coming here looking for a goal to equal the record, Frank's, and to qualify, you know, for the European Championship at Anfield. It was very emotional in the dressing room there, because I don't know whether it's the last time, you know, I'll have played for Ireland, you know.
Jack Charlton has resigned as manager.
The Football Association of Ireland
Jack Charlton steps down after almost 10 years as Irish team manager.
Jack Charlton, last of in Vanistor in soccer and hair.
I feel I'm out of it now. And I don't know, I'm going to have to sort of live with it to find out if I regret it. I mean, I had Liam Brady's and I had Frank Stapleton's, I had the Mick McCarthy's, the strong, solid, honest, and very gifted players in some cases. Tony Galvin, Tony Cascarino, Quinny Cascarino, John Aldridge, Ray Houghton. I mean, there's lots of them been with me over the 10 years, and I've been very privileged to have lads that people didn't really rate as the top level, but they proved they could be, and they were, and they have been 8th seeded in the world. A country this size, that really did make me proud that we did achieve something like that. Because to be 8th in a world that consists of the Brazils and the Argentinas and the Spain and the Germanys and the Italians and God knows what, the Englands, the Scotlands, for Ireland to be in there for a while, even though it was only for a while, and it's still possible again, you know. Don't forget it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We enjoyed Anfield, we enjoyed 10 years.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. See you, lads. You don't want to follow me all the way in, do you? Say bye-bye here at the door. All right. See you now.
Don't look back.